Good evening. It is Friday evening as I'm recording this, so I have an adult beverage. I hope you'll bear with. So we're going to look at what I plan to read during March, and based on January and February, where I've managed to get through quite a lot of books per month, I think I'm going to err on the aggressive side and see how we get on. But first, let us have a look at me browsing like an idiot my own shelves, trying to decide what I'm going to read. Right, let us see what attractions the A's have in store for us this month. Do I fancy any Brian Aldiss? I might go with some Aldiss. Actually, Hot House I'd really like to read. It's apparently scientifically deeply implausible, but nonetheless meant to be good. It's been a long time since I read any Asimov. I'm wondering if I need to reread some more Asimov. I did read one in February, so maybe I'll leave it for now. None of these particularly grabbing my attention, honestly. Well, not yet anyway. Perhaps this is the month for me to tackle some CJ Cherryh, but I probably wouldn't start here. Some Bradbury, perhaps. Yeah, Martian Chronicles. Let's do Martian Chronicles. At the time of filming this, I haven't actually read To Your Scattered Bodies Go yet, so I'll reserve judgment on Mr. Farmer till another month. Harrison, I'd like to read some Harrison, and the one that I want to read, where is it, is Make Room, Make Room. So I think that's a definite. Heinlein. My first Heinlein experience was not wholly negative. It was Starship Troopers, you know, it was pretty good. I did get a bit annoyed by his sort of bashing you over the head with the sort of libertarian politics, but the story itself was pretty good. But I think I'm going to skip him for now. Do I want to read any? These are a bit tricky to get to. What about some Andre Norton? I haven't read any Andre Norton. Beastmaster, maybe? I do like a bit of Larry Niven. Michael Moorcock's on my hit list for this year as a list of shame author I've not read anything by, but I'm not sure I've got the right entry point for him on my shelves. I'm not sure where to start. I'm also not completely convinced, if at all, that he's going to agree with me from a style point of view. We shall see. It's been a long time since I've read A Canticle for Leibowitz. Maybe I should give that a go. Let's have that as a possible, I think. McCaffrey. I enjoy Dragonflight. It's the only one of hers that I've read. And I wonder if I should give Dragon Quest, which is the second book, a go. Maybe. Ooh, I'll tell you what I do want to read. Giant Wasps by Keith Roberts, The Furies. I need to get some more Simak in as well. I've only read one Simak book. Which should I go with? City's the obvious one. I think Why Call Them Back from Heaven I've heard good things about. So let's do that. Silverberg. Oh, there we go. I'm going to have some Venus Equilateral short stories. Space opera. Should I read some Silverberg? And if so, which? Thorns I hear good things about. So let's go with Thorns. Let's see. I've read most of this shelf. Well, about half of this shelf, in fact. Less than half. I've read a few of this shelf. Should I read Authority? I've read Annihilation, but I have not read beyond that. So perhaps I should. I've enjoyed the couple of Becky Chambers that I've read, but I'm in no hurry to read the rest. I'm sure they'll be good, but no rush. Sparrow I want to get to at some point, but not this month, I don't think. Jack Vance, maybe. I've got quite a lot of vintage on my pile already, though, so I need to leaven the vintage with some more recent books, I think. So let's see if I can find some. Eric Brown, I hear good things about. None of those particularly grabbed me. Let's see. Some newer books. Now. So Howling Dark is the second of the Sun Eater books, and I really enjoyed the first one. And I've bought the second one with the intention of reading it soon, so why not this month? And how about another M. John Harrison light? I wonder, so I'm acquiring Adam Roberts books like they're going out of fashion. I would like to read some more, but I think I'm going to give some James Smythe a try this month. So I think The Explorer is the first of four. Oh, look, there's a deepness in the sky staring at me accusingly, saying, "Read me!" And I do want to read it, but I'm put off by the size of it, so that might have to wait till a holiday. It's on the bottom shelf here. Now then, Christopher Priest. I should celebrate, or commemorate rather, is probably a better word, his passing, with them certainly not celebrating it, with another Christopher Priest read. They're all meant to be good, but I have something else in mind actually now that I think of it. Might have that. Mike Carey was the author of The Girl with All the Gifts. I'd like to read that as well. In Ascension. It's a bit chunky. I should tackle a bit of Red Rising. I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, and I should tackle some Lois Bujold too. In fact, I'm going to, because the one that I think I can read first is quite slender, Shards of Honor, so that would be good. I hear good things about Marrow as well, not this month. Now then, what about Barehead? I think I might have too many books on my pile already to give Barehead a go this month, but maybe. Let's see what grabs my fancy from these shelves over here. Actually, Pushing Ice is a book I'd like to reread. That's meant to be pretty good. CJ Cherry. Cytine is chunky, but it's 3 books really, so I could break it up a bit. Or I could go with Heavy Time or Hellburner. I don't have Down Below Station, which would be the logical place to start because that's her first book really. Let's see. I could go with Out of the Dark, which I hear fun things about. Maybe. Right, that's enough shelf browsing. Let me make my mind up. See you shortly. Right, welcome back to the land of the living. I'm going to read, but not necessarily in this order, Hot House by Brian Aldiss, which is a book I've wanted to read for quite a while. It came up in a video of mine. What was it on? It would have been on Sentient Plant Life, I think, some months back. And one or two other people have mentioned it since then. It's scientifically deeply implausible, I believe, and was derided by other science fiction authors at the time, but it's meant to be beautifully written and a nice story. So looking forward to that. It's quite slender, 200 pages. The sun is going nova, apparently, and in the boughs of the immense banyan tree that covers one face of the earth, the last pitiful remnants of humanity battle for survival with huge carnivorous plants and grotesque insect life. And probably beer, I expect. Fertile ingenuity and wit. The primitive instincts are aroused with a horrible genius, and they linger in the mind in all their frightfulness, apparently. Okay, and then I'm going to go with, another classic, The Martian Chronicles by Mr. Ray Bradbury, which is a collection of short stories with some connecting tissue, and it's in phases, covering the man's first landing on Mars through to later colonization and future societies, etc., etc. A glimpse of things to come, it says on the back, a glance at the past. Here is Ray Bradbury's sometimes eerie, sometimes poetic fantasy about the colonization of Mars, the story of familiar people and familiar passions set against the incredible beauties of a new world. A skillful blending of fancy and satire, terror and tenderness, wonder and contempt, by the author of The Illustrated Man. I haven't read it before. I hear good things. And then I'm going to have a crack at Harry Harrison. This will be my first Harry Harrison, so I shall be ticking him off my list of shame this year. I'm going to avoid the obvious, stainless steel rat and the other kind of Death World and those things which are more popular. I'm going to go with this, which is a singleton, Make Room, which I think is a cautionary tale about overcrowding. An overcrowded world that knows that the dawn of a new century is the edge of disaster. This is 1999 that they're talking about. A world of starving billions living on lentils, soybeans, and if they're lucky, the odd starving rat. In a city of 35 million people, Andy Rush is engaged in a desperate and lonely hunt for a killer that everyone has forgotten. For even in a world such as this, a policeman can find himself utterly alone. So that's interesting. I didn't realise it was a kind of police procedural type thing. Intriguing. I'm going to hit up Andre Norton. This will be my first Andre Norton, so another well-known author I can check off my list of shame. I'm going to go with Beastmaster, which came up in one of my space opera videos. Maybe the 50s, or it could be the 60s. I think it's the 50s. Let's see. Yeah, it would have been the 50s, I think. So this is a story of a Native American who ends up on a different planet. I was going to say Mars, not Mars, a different planet, Arzor, there we go. So Hostine Storm was a beastmaster, one of a picked band of commandos who could control animals by telepathy. After his home planet Terra, that's us, was destroyed in a bitter war, he applied to resettle on the new planet Arzor. He said he chose Arzor for its climate, but there was another reason. He had to find Brad Quaid, the man who had a blood debt to pay to everyone on Terra, the planet where life no longer existed. So if I remember rightly, he has like a squad of 4 animals. I think like an eagle, a cat of some kind, a like polecat type thing, and something else. I'm not sure what. Maybe it's 3 animals, several animals, a few animals, somewhere between 2 and 4 animals that he can talk to in with his thoughts, like Dr. Friggin' Doolittle. Cheers, by the way. Okay, then I've got The Furies by Keith Roberts, which is a strange kind of catastrophe tale. It is quite English in character, I gather, and it involves the end of the world. In this book, it involves giant freaking wasps that are man-sized wasps that terrorize the countryside. So let's see. America and Russia both explode huge H-bombs simultaneously. The tests go wrong, cracking the seabed, rupturing the continents, and engulfing cities. The Thames flattens into a floodplain. London is drowned. Quite a common fate for London in these catastrophe books. Now comes cosmic retribution. Giant wasps, monstrous and deadly, directed by a supernal intelligence, invade a reeling world. In England, isolated guerrillas fight on. That's guerrillas as in armed insurgents, not silverbacks. That would be my first Keith Roberts, another person to check off my list. Whose writing allegedly is beautiful, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know whether it's a good story or not, but it would be well written. Next, this will be my second, I think, Clifford Simak. Which one have I got? Why Call Them Back from Heaven, which is something to do with immortality, I think. Let's see. Excuse me. I should have poured it into a glass. That might have been a bit more delicate. But whatever, it's Friday. So, blah, 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 blah. Yes, what price is too great for immortality? Forever Centre towers above everything on Earth in every sense. On this mighty 5-mile-high block, all the hopes and desperate dreams of humanity are focused. Forever Centre's aim is to put an end to death. Fueled by most of the Earth's riches, it has more power than any government, more control than any police force. and millions of people endure a drab poverty in order to pay for eventual immortality. There are those who say it's wicked or misguided. There are those who whisper it's corrupt, but only one person knows the true secret of Forever Centre, and she has disappeared. Intriguing. I'm going to try some Venus Equilateral. So I've got both volumes in this livery. This is volume 1, and these are short stories set on a space station come transit hub orbiting Venus. And the protagonists are a bunch of kind of nerdy engineers, type of people that have biros in a pen holder in their pocket, who solve shit that goes wrong. Let's see. Venus Equilateral, a space station planet in the orbit of Venus, the nerve centre of the solar system. Venus Equilateral is manned by Dr. Don Channing, and a crew of tough, wily engineers dedicated to maintaining their vital relay point for interplanetary messages against all comers. In Volume 1, the station faces attack by bureaucratic governments, space pirates, hooray for space pirates, and other paranormal phenomenon of the 21st century. So what I want to know is, why don't we have a massive space station orbiting Venus? It's the 21st century. What's going on? Still, apparently these are good fun. They came up in a space opera video. Might have been the first one I did in the 1930s and 40s. Yeah, it would have been 1940, because this was first published in 1947. Have it. It looks good. And then I'm going to have another go at Robert Silverberg, this time Thorns, about which I know nothing, so let's find out. Duncan Chalk, entertainment industry mogul, fed his 600-pound body a steady diet of pain and suffering. He wanted to give the good people of the universe a new tragedy to watch on their videos. Minna Burris, Starman, came back from Manipool with his body horribly butchered by the planet's surgeons. He wanted a new, wholly human body, and Chalk promised it to him if he cooperated. Lona Kelvin, 17-year-old virgin, was the mother of 100 babies whom she only knew from photographs. She wanted a couple to raise herself. Chalk promised them to her if she cooperated. Chalk, Minna, Lona, the Great Triangle. They knew what they wanted, but not what they needed. Only time would give them that. That's I don't know what I thought this was about, but it wasn't that, so that's intriguing. So we'll give it a go. I think I've got 2 copies of this. I think I have it in hardback, although without a dust jacket, and then I've got this rather handsome paperback as well, which is in rather nice condition. Oh, I slipped into book haul mode there for a second. Where are we? We're doing a TBR. That's right. Good grief! Too much blood in my alcohol system. So let's see. Let's just make an appraisal. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8 books there, but they are all slender, 150 to 200 pages. So I think I'll be good. I might get through that in a couple of weeks at the rate I've been going recently. So I'm not fazed by that challenge. I'm going to have a crack at my first Vorkosigan saga book. This is Shards of Honor, which I think I'm right in saying is the sort of origin story. So this is how Miles Vorkosigan's parents met. Opposing sides in a war. They're both stranded on a planet and they have to help each other, and one thing leads to another, so I gather. Let's see. It was the wrong war. It was the wrong place at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. She even wore the wrong uniform. Cordelia Naismith, beaten expeditionary force, had been hurried into battle, still wearing her old tan astronomical survey fatigues. Now, captain of a throwaway ship on a mission of deception, she conveys a weapon of wicked subtlety to entrap and destroy an enemy armada. But Cordelia will discover deception within deception, treachery within treachery, until finally she is forced into a separate peace with her chief opponent, Lord Vorkosigan. It is a peace that earns her ignominy, even though it foreshadows a new beginning for herself, her lover, and both their peoples. Well, there doesn't seem to be a lot of being stranded on a planet here, so maybe I've got that wrong. Anyway, I haven't read any Vorkosigan saga. I've not read any of her books at all, in fact, but they have legions of fans. They're meant to be a good cracking tale, space opera style, so I'm always here for space opera. And then next I'm going to tackle The Fourth of Four by Emma Newman, Before Mars. This is in the so-called planetfall sequence. They are loosely related, but they can be read as entirely standalone books, I think. But she does a good job of creating a new story of a different style with each book, I think. So I'm looking forward to this. Don't know much about it. Let's see. After months of travel, Anna Kubrin finally arrives at the Mars base for her new job as a geologist and de facto artist in residence. And already she feels that she's losing her connection with her husband and baby back home on Earth. In her room on the base, Anna finds a mysterious note painted in her own hand, warning her not to trust the colony psychiatrist, a note that she can't remember painting. When she finds a footprint in a place that the colony AI claims has never been visited by humans, Anna begins to suspect that she's caught up in an elaborate corporate conspiracy, or is she losing her grip on reality? Anna must find the truth regardless of what horrors she might discover or what they might do to her mind. So actually, it's not obvious to me from reading the blurb how this is connected to the other three. Perhaps it isn't. I think it is, but I'm not. It's not obvious how. We shall see. I guess I'll find out when I read it. I'm going to have a crack at M. John Harrison. I've read one of his books, The Centauri Device, a month or two back. It was all right. I found the prose a bit chewy, so I'm going to give this a go. M. John Harrison himself says that Centauri Device was not a great book, so if he didn't like it, then I shouldn't feel obliged to. This is more recent. It was in the early 2000s, I think, that it came out, and it's the first of 3 in the Kefahuchi Tract trilogy. And this is the first one. So, on the barren surface of an asteroid located deep in the galaxy beneath the unbearable light of the Kefahuchi Tract lie 3 objects: an abandoned spacecraft, a pair of bone dice covered with strange symbols, and a human skeleton. What they are and what they mean are the mysteries explored and unwrapped in light. M. John Harrison's triumphant return to science fiction. An amazing book, a novel full of full-spectrum literary dominance, an awesomely fluent and versatile prose stylist, it says on the back. Maybe it's not as flowery as the Centauri Device, which I did find a little bit distracting. But, you know, the boy can write, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I like a bit of space opera. The unfortunate thing, oh no, what a shame, is if I do like it, there are another 2 that I need to find / buy impatiently online. I'm going to read another author new to me, James Smythe. I have several of his books now, so I'm hoping that he's pretty good. I gather he is. So this is the first of 4 in the Anomaly. I think it's the Anomaly series. The first 2 of which are available in hardback, but the second 2 aren't, or at least I haven't been able to find any evidence that they exist as hardbacks in the UK. I think the first 2 hardback and second 2 paperback. When journalist Cormac Easton is selected to document the first manned mission into deep space, he dreams of securing his place in history as one of humanity's great explorers. But in space, no one can hear you scream. Oh no! But in space, nothing goes according to plan. And nor can anyone hear you scream. The crew wake from hypersleep to discover their captain dead in his allegedly fail-proof safety pod. They mourn, and Cormac sends a beautifully written eulogy back to Earth. The word from ground control is unequivocal. No matter what happens, the mission must continue. But as the body count begins to rise, Cormac finds himself alone and spiralling towards his own inevitable death, unless he can do something to stop it. So that sounds exciting, sort of bits of... I don't know what's killing them off, but shades of Alien there. So James Smythe is a Brit. He was born in London, has taught creative writing, and is currently a writer / narrative designer for a major forthcoming video game, or he was at the point that this was published in 2012. This one's signed in a barely legible scrawl. So that is the penultimate book, the last one on my pile for March, and I still think I might have room for 1 or 2 more, but we shall see, not least because I'm away for a few days in mid-March, and then it's Easter at the very end of the month, so I'll have a bit of downtime. Anyhow, having enjoyed the first part, Empire of Silence, so much in February, I went straight out to buy the second part. When I say I went straight out, I got my phone out and ordered it online, and it was delivered without me having to move my arse off my chair. But I went straight out in a virtual sense and bought part 2, which is Howling Dark. Hadrian Marlowe who was the protagonist in the first book, and I think throughout the whole series. And I think I've previously said that the 6th and final book is coming out this year, but it's not. I mean, the 6th book is coming out this year, but it's not the final one. There will be a 7th, probably coming out in 2025. Hadrian Marlowe is lost. For half a century, he has searched the farther suns for the lost planet of Vorgossos, hoping to find a way to contact the elusive alien Cielcin and bring an end to nearly 400 years of war. Now Hadrian will venture beyond the safety of the Solon Empire, mingle with the extrasolarians who dwell there, contend with creatures that were once human, and come face to face with no less than the oldest enemy of mankind. If he finds the Cielcin, he could usher in peace, unlike any in recorded history. If he fails, the galaxy will burn. I really, really enjoyed the first part, and I hear that this is better, so it's got quite a lot to live up to. So that's everything I have planned for this coming month. Have you thought about what you want to read next month yet? If you have, let me know the highlights of those. I'll be interested to hear. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye for now.